Close your eyes and feel your breath slow down. With every exhale, the thoughts of the day, the weight on your shoulders, drift a little further away from you. Let your mind go free. Let it travel outside of time and space to a land far, far away, a land beneath the sand and stars. You are thousands of years ago. You are in the darkest, most silent moment of the night. There is not yet the slightest hint of the sun's existence. There are only the countless, brilliant and cold stars, stretching from one end of the sky to the other. They are not the stars you know. This is a much older, much purer sky. You are not yet fully awake. You are on that familiar, heavy, hazy border between wakefulness and sleep. Your consciousness is like an object, slowly rising from deep water to the surface. Sounds from the outside world begin to leak into your awareness, but they don't have meaning yet. They are just vibrations. From far, far away, the single, long howl of a jackal, followed by a deep silence. The surface you lie on is hard and cool. You can feel the texture of the woven straw mat beneath you, distinctly on your back and hips. The rough surface of thousands of dried reeds intertwined. This is your bed. It's not soft. It's not comfortable. It is only familiar. The room is not pitch black. A faint starlight filters in through a small rectangular opening high on the wall. This light is just enough for you to make out the ghostly silhouettes of the objects inside the room. In the corner, a water jug made of clay, with a round belly. Beside it, a few more clay pots stacked on top of each other. And at the base of the wall, the rest of your family sleeps. You can hear their calm, steady breathing. This sound is the rhythm of the silence in the room. It is a sound of safety. You try to sit up slowly, and in that moment, your body reminds you of yesterday. There is a deep ache in your shoulders, one that seems to settle in your bones, as if the phantom weight of the massive stone blocks you carried yesterday is still there. A dull ache in your lower back, and your fingers, even opening and closing them, requires effort. The marks, the calluses left by the thick palm fiber ropes in your palms, are still throbbing. This pain is your companion each morning. It is a part of waking. You've long grown used to it. You have accepted it. Your eyes adjust further to the dimness of the room. You can make out the mud brick walls. These walls, made from the mud of the Nile, mixed with straw and dried in the sun. When you touch them, they have a cool, rough, and slightly sandy feel. The air is still. Inside the room, there is the unique, heavy scent of human breath, dried clay, and the coolness of the night. Now you swing your legs over the side of the straw bed. Your bare feet meet the compressed earth floor. The ground is surprisingly cold. This coldness climbs up from your ankles, waking you further. You don't rush to get up. No one rushes. In these lands, haste is a luxury only for pharaohs and gods. For you, time is measured by the movement of the sun, and the sun is not here yet. You walk towards the water jug in the corner. As you pick it up, you feel the smooth but cold surface of the clay. You pour some of its contents into a small bowl. The sound of the water rings out in the quiet room like a waterfall. First, you take some water in your palm and splash it on your face. The cold water washes away the last remnants of sleep. Then you take a few large gulps from the bowl. The water is pure and clear. It has the faint, earthy taste of the minerals brought by the Nile. This taste, which mixes with your blood, nourishes your bones, is life itself. It's time for breakfast. You don't expect a luxurious meal. You have never seen one. Your breakfast must be practical and nutritious. It's like carrying wood for the fire your body will burn later in the day. In a clay dish, there is a solid porridge left over from last night, a very filling gruel made by boiling roasted barley and wheat with water. And next to it stands the main pillar of life in Egypt, bread. But this is not the soft, fluffy bread you might know. This is besambet, a dense, hard loaf made from coarse-grained emmer wheat, ground into flour between two flat stones, unleavened, full of sand and grit. When you take it in your hand, you feel its weight. It feels less like a loaf and more like a piece of brick. Even tearing off a piece requires strength. Chewing takes a long time. Your jaw tires. But as it slowly breaks down in your mouth, you get that primal taste of the earth and the sun. This bread doesn't just give you energy, it also reminds you of who you are. You are a part of this land. You eat your bread, perhaps with a piece of green onion on the side. The sharp, fresh taste of the onion cuts through the monotony of the bread. Sometimes, if you are lucky, there might be a piece of dried, salted fish. But today, it is just bread and onion, and it is enough. It is a blessing. As you finish your meal, you notice the sounds from outside slowly changing. It's no longer just whispers, the impatient bray of a donkey, a baby's cry, the low-voiced conversation of two women from the neighboring house. The village is waking up. Life is restarting, heavy and methodical. It is time to go outside. You slip through the opening that serves as your only exit, where a piece of cloth hangs as a door, and step out. And in that moment, the air hits your skin. It's so different from the still air of your room. It's cool, fresh, and filled with a light breeze. This wind comes from across the Nile, and it carries with it the damp, vegetative scent of the river. You take a deep breath. This is the smell of the morning. This is the smell of hope. You look at the sky. The eastern horizon is no longer pitch black. Just above the horizon line, there is a faint glow, shifting from a dark purple to navy blue, and then to a pale orange. The dawn is breaking. Against this new light, the stars are slowly fading, disappearing one by one. The narrow streets of the village are filled with tens, hundreds of men just like you, all of them walking in the same direction, out of the village, towards the plateau. They wear nothing but a simple linen loincloth wrapped around their waists. Their bodies have been shaped by years of hard labor, broad shoulders, strong backs, thick legs. But there is no expression on their faces, only an acceptance, a silent determination. No one speaks to one another. They don't even make eye contact. There is no need. Everyone knows where they are going and what they will do there. This is a daily ritual, one that needs no words. The ground beneath your feet, a mixture of packed earth and sand, still holds the coolness of the night. You take slow, measured steps. You need to conserve your energy. There is a long day ahead of you. As you walk away from the village, the landscape opens up, and there it is, right in front of you, standing as a massive triangular silhouette in the twilight. The great monument being built for the pharaoh, the Great Pyramid. It is so large, so overwhelming, that it doesn't look like a human structure. It's like a superhuman mountain placed there by nature itself. Its surface is just beginning to faintly reflect the first pale rays of dawn. It is your reason for being, the cause of your daily exhaustion, every ache, every drop of sweat. You feel no awe towards it, nor hatred. It is just there, and you are walking towards it. This walk is like a procession, the soft, rhythmic shuffle of hundreds of bare feet in the sand, an occasional cough, but no other sound, only this slow, shared, and silent movement. You are an army of nameless shadows walking towards the sunrise. One step, then another. You look at the tired back of the man in front of you. He is looking at the one in front of him. You are like links in an endless chain, and this chain stretches towards that colossal stone mountain. The first part of the journey is only just beginning. As you get closer to the plateau, the silence gradually gives way to a hum. This is the sound of thousands of people and a colossal project. It's not chaos. On the contrary, it's the sound of a machine with its own distinct order. In the distance, the high-pitched metallic clicks of stonemasons' copper chisels striking limestone. Closer, the creaking of smaller blocks being pulled up the ramps. And underneath it all, a constant, muffled murmur born from the collective effort of thousands, their words indistinguishable. This sound is now your world. This hum will be the background music for the rest of your day. As you step onto the construction site, the sheer scale of the operation astounds you once again. A sea of people stretching as far as the eye can see, some pulling stones in groups, some working on scaffolding, some sharpening tools, some carrying water. Everyone has a task. Everyone is a small but indispensable piece of this giant puzzle. The air is thick with a fine limestone dust. This dust, glittering in the sunlight, burns the back of your throat when you breathe and covers everything in a thin white veil. Your team is gathered at the bottom of the ramp, next to the newly delivered stone blocks. Your foreman is talking to a scribe who is holding a papyrus scroll. Their conversation doesn't concern you. Your concern is with the massive beast standing right in front of you. Just think, that stone block is one of the largest things you have ever seen. A bright, almost white block of limestone, brought on great barges from the quarries at Tura on the other side of the Nile. Its height would match two men standing on each other's shoulders. Its length is that of a fishing boat. You can't even imagine its weight, equal to the weight of thousands, tens of thousands of men. Its surface is smooth in some places where it was cut from the quarry, and rougher, unhewn in others. It gleams under the sun with a blinding whiteness. It is not just a stone. It is a challenge. It is a fortress you must conquer throughout the day. The stone is placed on a massive wooden sledge. The sledge itself is an incredibly heavy structure made from huge tree trunks. Its purpose is to help the stone slide more easily on the sand. But right now, it sits motionless along with the stone, as if it has taken root in the earth. The foreman turns towards you. There is no smile or anger on his face, just the expression of a man doing his job. He calls the team by striking a nearby stone with the wooden staff in his hand. The sound is heard clearly above the general hum of the site. Everyone moves to the head of the rope they are assigned to. You take your place. In front of you and behind you, you will share the same rope with dozens of men. This is no ordinary rope. It's a cable as thick as a man's wrist, woven from hundreds of palm fibers, incredibly strong. Hardened under the sun and water, it feels as rough as sandpaper to the touch. You grip it tightly with both hands. From the very first moment, the fibers dig into the calluses on your palms. You are used to this pain. It is part of the job. Everyone is in position. Dozens of teams, each lined up before their own massive stone like ant colonies. There is a moment of silence. There is only the sound of the wind and that general hum. Everyone is waiting for the first command, and the foreman begins the rhythm. He strikes 2 wooden clappers together. Kalak, this is the prepare command. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs with air. You plant your feet firmly in the sand, digging your heels back. You lean your body forward, straighten your arms, and take up all the slack in the rope. Every muscle fiber in your back, your shoulders, your legs, stretches taut like a bowstring. You can feel the man next to you tensing in the same way, holding his breath. The entire team becomes a single mass of muscle. Kalak, this is the pull command. In that instant, you pour all of your strength, your entire being, into that rope. Every fiber in your body screams for the same purpose. A deep, guttural groan erupts from everyone at once. It is not a sound of pain, but a sound of power. Your feet scrabble in the sand against the resistance of tons of weight. Your shoulders feel like they're about to pop from their sockets. You close your eyes. In that moment, there is only you, the rope, and that incredible, immovable weight. 1 second, 2 seconds. The stone gives no reaction at all. It's as if it's chained to the center of the earth. It resists. It absorbs all your strength and defies you. But then, very slowly, so slowly it's hard to even feel, a vibration begins. From under the sledge comes a deep, creaking sound of wood being crushed into the sand. And that massive bulk, that unconquerable fortress, slides forward by the width of a finger. It's a victory, but there is no time to rejoice, because the rhythm must continue. Clack. This means stop and prepare. You don't let go of the rope. You just lessen the tension slightly and reposition yourself. You breathe rapidly. Your heart is pounding against your rib cage. Clack. Pull. Again, the same explosive force, the same collective groan, the same resistance. And again, that small, hard-won movement. Another finger's width, maybe a hand's breadth this time. The rest of the day is made of this rhythm. Clack, pull, clack, stop, clack, pull, clack, stop. The concept of time loses its meaning. There are only these 2 commands. The sun slowly climbs higher in the sky. The morning's coolness has long vanished, replaced by a dry and searing heat. Sweat pours from every part of your body. It streams down your forehead, gets caught in your eyebrows, and then drips into your eyes, burning them. Your linen loincloth is stuck to your back. The thin layer of dust clinging to your body mixes with your sweat and turns to mud. Your mind slowly begins to shut down. This is the body's defense mechanism. To endure such a crushing physical effort, the mind stops thinking. You don't think about your family. You don't think about yesterday or tomorrow. You only think about the next command, the next pull. Your eyes are locked on the sweaty, tensed back of the man in front of you. Your ears are focused only on the sound of the wooden clappers. Your body is filled with pain and exhaustion, but your mind is calm, empty, just like the desert surrounding you. This is a kind of trance, a kind of painful meditation. Every now and then, when the rhythm is broken, the other parts of the machine engage. When the front of the sledge gets stuck in a soft patch of sand, the foreman shouts and calls the lever men to duty. They come with the thick wooden levers they carry. They wedge the tips of the levers under the sledge and bear down on them all at once. You hear the cracking sounds of the wood straining under tension, and they manage to shift the sledge a hand's breadth from where it was stuck. Meanwhile, the water carriers, young boys and teens, are in a constant hustle with the clay jugs in their hands. They constantly pour water onto the path of the sledge, onto the sand. When the water meets the hot sand, it evaporates instantly with a short hiss. But for that brief moment, it hardens the sand and makes it easier for the sledge to slide. Without them, it would be impossible to move these stones even a single step. Everyone's task is of vital importance in this giant machine, but your job is just to pull, to pull, to pull. The sun is now high in the sky, not quite at its peak, but it will be there soon. Your shadow has become very short, almost disappearing beneath your body. The heat becomes unbearable. A warmth rises not just from the sun, but from the ground as well. The sand burns your bare feet. Every breath you now fills your lungs with hot, dry air. The rhythm slows. The pulls are harder now. The pauses longer. Everyone's strength is beginning to run out. But there is no stopping. No stopping until it's time for a break. For a moment, you lift your eyes and look at the pyramid. You are still at the beginning of the ramp. There is so far to go. You immediately push the thought from your head. To think about it would only break your morale. All you have to do is wait for the next command. Clack, pull. Just think of the next step. Just the next pull. Just the next breath. The first half of the day melts away into this seemingly endless rhythm, a brief respite. The sun is now at its absolute zenith, utterly merciless directly overhead. Your shadow has been crushed into nothingness beneath your feet. Every breath is like inhaling embers. Your muscles, having spent their last reserves of strength, have become knots of aching pain on the verge of collapse. Just at the moment when you think you can't pull anymore, that you can't take another step, a sound is heard in the distance. The sound of a horn, a metallic, long, and single note. This is not a sound from the pharaoh's army, but from the order of the construction site. And this sound has only one meaning: break. That moment is a magical one. It's as if an invisible hand has simultaneously lifted tens of thousands of tons from the shoulders of tens of thousands of men. The rope, as if it no longer has any weight, slips from your hand and falls to the ground. Your shoulders, freed from that terrible pressure, feel for a moment as if they are floating in the air. And then, exhaustion crashes down on your body with its full force. Your legs tremble as if they can no longer support you. You take deep, ragged breaths. Your body is trying to recover from the shock of the superhuman effort it was just subjected to. The other men around you are in the same state. Some collapse where they stand. Others are doubled over, hands on their knees, gasping for air. No one speaks. They don't have the strength to speak. There is only the shared, deep hum of thousands of lungs inhaling air and exhaling with fatigue all at once. But you can't stay here. To remain under the sun for even a second longer would be madness. You act on a single instinct. Shade. You must find shade. Your eyes scan the surroundings. You squint, searching for a dark sanctuary in that white, blinding glare. There it is, the base of a wall from one of the lower levels of the construction. The wall isn't very high, but it creates just enough shadow to cut off the sun's most direct angles. You move towards that shadow. Even walking is agony. Your steps are heavy, stumbling. It feels as if invisible weights are tied to your ankles. With every step, you feel the hellish heat of the sand. And finally, you reach that small, dark space. The moment you step into the shade, it's like reaching an oasis in the desert. the temperature instantly drops by several degrees. The merciless glare of the sun gives way to a dim and restful darkness. Without a second thought, you let yourself drop to the ground, leaning your back against the rough and relatively cool stone of the wall. Your body thanks you. The earthen floor is still hot, but not as hot as where the sun beats down directly. It feels as though this earth is slowly absorbing the fatigue and fever from your body. For a few minutes you just sit, motionless. Your eyes are closed. You focus only on your breathing. Your heartbeat slowly returns to normal. The violent trembling in your muscles gives way to a deep ache that has settled into your bones. Now, it's time to eat. You have a small cloth bag tucked into the sash at your waist. You open it slowly. Inside is the same food from the morning. A thick, coarse slice of barley bread, and perhaps as a luxury, a few dried dates. The dates are thoroughly dried and crystallized with sugar under the sun. But before food, water. Water is more important than anything. You take your small necked flask made of clay, called a yiset. The outer surface of the flask stays constantly damp from the evaporation of the water inside, which keeps the water somewhat cool. But in this midday heat, the water is no longer cool. It's lukewarm, almost hot. But it doesn't matter. You bring the flask to your lips and take a long gulp. You feel the warm water flow down your parched throat and into your stomach. It is the most beautiful feeling in the world. Another gulp, and another. You can feel how grateful every single cell in your body is for that water. Then, you break off a small piece of your bread and begin to chew. Your mouth is so dry that chewing is difficult. But slowly, the bread mixes with your saliva and becomes a morsel you can't swallow. Afterwards, you pop a date into your mouth. That intense, sweet flavor spreads across your tongue. This sugar will give you some of the energy you need for the afternoon's work. As you eat, you observe your surroundings. Everyone is just like you. Hundreds of exhausted bodies sheltering at the base of walls, in the shadows of stone blocks. All of them eating their meals in the same silence, with the same slow movements. Every now and then, someone asks another for water. A flask is passed from hand to hand. This is the only communication between them. No words are needed. A shared fate, a shared exhaustion, connects them with a bond of brotherhood. You stare at the sharp line where the shade ends and the sun begins. There, the air seems to ripple. The heat is so intense, it creates a mirage. The people, scaffolding, and other stone blocks in the distance appear blurry and shapeless behind this shimmering curtain of air. The world looks like a dreamscape. Your mind is still empty, but it's no longer completely shut down as it was in the trance-like state. In a daze brought on by the exhaustion, short, meaningless thoughts surface and then disappear. The face of your child at home, the thought of the meal that will be cooked tonight, the cool waters of the river Nile. You don't hold on to any of these thoughts. Like lotus leaves floating on the surface of your mind, they just drift by. The break feels both infinitely long and as short as the blink of an eye. Your body wants this rest to never end, but you notice your shadow moving, millimeter by millimeter, at the base of the wall. The sun is continuing its journey across the sky. Time does not stop, and this means the end of the break is also approaching. You see the four men slowly getting to their feet, beginning to walk around. They aren't calling anyone yet, but this is a preparation. These are the final moments, Rama. Peace. You take one last sip of water You close the mouth of your flask tightly. You mentally prepare yourself to once again load the weight you had set down onto your shoulders. That deep, heavy, and reluctant acceptance settles back inside you. The second half of the day is about to begin. The short, dreamlike respite in the shade is over. The foreman's voice cuts through that peaceful daze like a knife. The commands echo once more. To get up. This is one of the hardest movements of the day. Your body protests. Every muscle, every joint begs you, stop, don't go on. But your will, with that ancient sense of duty that has persisted for thousands of years, triumphs over your body. You slowly get to your feet. You are under that searing sun again, but the sun is no longer directly overhead. It has begun its journey toward the west. This doesn't mean the air is any cooler, however. On the contrary, the sand and stones now radiate the intense heat they have absorbed all day. Like an oven, the heat now envelops you, not just from above, but from every direction. From the ground, from the stones, from the air. You grip that thick, rough rope once more. Your palms react at first with a sting, as if they had forgotten this texture. But then, that familiar, calloused feeling returns. Your team takes its place again before the massive stone, with a silent and weary determination. And the rhythm begins again. Kelak, prepare, tense up, hold your breath. Kelak, pull. The afternoon's labor is no different from the morning's. Exactly the same. The same crushing weight, the same mechanical movements, the same collective groan. Your body has memorized this rhythm by now. You have become an automaton. You pull because you must pull. You stop because you must stop. Your mind returns to that emptiness, that protective trance pow, just as it did in the morning. It's easier this time, because it no longer has the strength to resist. It completely surrenders to the flow. The outside world once again becomes a hum, a series of meaningless details. The back of the man in front of you, the tension of the rope, the color of the sand, the voice of the foreman. They are all part of a whole, and you are a part of that whole too. But something's different. What's different is the light. As the sun descends towards the western horizon, the harsh, white glare of the light disappears. It gives way to a warm, golden glow. Everything is washed in a honey-colored light. The limestone face of the pyramid no longer dazzles the eye. Instead, it glows with a warm radiance, as if lit from within. The dust particles in the air look like tiny stars dancing in these golden beams of light. And the shadows are getting longer. That tiny shadow crushed beneath your feet in the morning has now become a long, slender silhouette stretching for meters to the east. The shadow of the stone, the shadow of your team, the massive shadow of the pyramid. They are all like a sundial, signaling that the end of the day is near. With each passing minute, the shadows stretch a little further, as if a cool, dark blanket is slowly being drawn over the sight. This changing light plants a faint seed of hope in your heart. You are getting closer to the end. Every pull is now one pull closer to the last. The final hour. This is the hardest, yet at the same time, the most bearable hour of the day. Your strength is completely depleted. Your movements are slower, more forced. But in a corner of your mind, the idea of returning home, of resting, of lying down on that straw bed, burns like a candle. The light of that candle gives you your last strength. The sun is now about to touch the horizon. The sky is a magnificent riot of color, shifting from orange to red to violet. The silhouettes of the western mountains stand like black cutouts against this colorful canvas. And in that moment, the sound you've been waiting for arrives. The sound of the horn you heard at noon, but this time it echoes with a much sweeter, much more merciful tone. This is the end of the day. The work is done. Like a puppet whose strings have been cut, the rope slips from your hand. Your body remains standing with one final effort. You look around. Thousands of men have stopped at the same time, looking at the setting sun. A silent army of thousands of tired, dusty, sweaty bodies. No one shouts with joy. No one celebrates. There is only the silence of a deep, shared, and infinite relief. The weight lifted from their shoulders is not just of the stones, but of an entire day. The tools are gathered. Everything is put back in its place in an orderly fashion, ready to begin again tomorrow morning. You and your team slowly start on the path back to the village. The walk home is very different from the mornings. Your steps are heavy as lead. You have to make a conscious effort to take each step, but the tension in your shoulders is gone now. Hundreds of men glide silently toward their homes in the dim light of sunset. This time, the reason for the silence is not just exhaustion, but a kind of introspective peace. You made it. You completed another day. You survived. As you approach the village, the smell in the air changes. The sharp scent of limestone dust and sweat gives way to the familiar, domestic smell of burning wood and cooking food. The sounds change too. The chirping of children, their excited voices telling their mothers about something. The conversations among the women. This is the sound of life, not the sound of labor. When you arrive in front of your own mud brick house, you pause for a moment. A faint light seeps from within, the flickering flame of a small oil lamp. You pull aside the piece of cloth that serves as a door and step inside. Inside, it is warmer than when you left it this morning. It is the warmth of the small fire burning in the center and of the cooking meal. Your wife looks at you with a smile. You don't speak. You understand each other with your eyes. Your first act is to go to the large water pot in the corner. You fill a bowl with water and step outside. You pour the water over your head. The coolness of the water seems to wash away all the dust, sweat, and fatigue of the day. This is a moment of rebirth. The evening meal is simple, but delicious. Perhaps a hot soup made from lentils. Beside it, bread that is fresher, softer than the mornings. You eat slowly, savoring the taste. Every bite is a piece of life returning to your body. After the meal, there is nothing else to do. There is only rest. You lie down next to your family, upon that straw mat that belongs to you. And that moment is the most beautiful of the day. When your back meets that familiar hard surface, a wave seems to pass through your body, a wave of relief. Your muscles finally let go of the tension they have held all day. Your body grows heavy as lead. Even your bones are tired. You close your eyes. In the darkness, the phantoms of the sun and the pyramid are still there, but they are faint now. They have lost their power. Your body too, just like that worker's, is now growing heavy. Let go of all the burdens, all the thoughts the day has brought, and leave them on your bed. Feel your shoulders relax. Just as he let go of the rope, you too let go of the day's worries. Your arms and legs are heavy as lead. You don't want to lift them. There is no need. Let them sink into the depths of your bed, deeper and deeper still. Your breath is now slower and deeper. With every inhale, calmness fills you. With every exhale, the last crumbs of fatigue also leave your body. Your mind, like that of the Egyptian worker, is now calming. Thoughts come, but you don't hold on to them. Let them, like leaves on a river, float peacefully by. Just watch them and let them go. Nothing else matters now. Not yesterday nor tomorrow. There is only this moment of calm, this moment of peace. Your body is heavy, your mind is empty, your breath is slow. The darkness envelops you like a warm, safe blanket. Sleep is calling you. There is no need to resist. Just surrender into the depths of peace, into the heart of tranquility. Sleep, sleep, sleep.